You ever have one of those weeks where you're just, you know, flying by the seat of your pants, you don't stop moving, got a headache, because of all the, I won't say stress, but you're just very busy, you know what I mean? Especially as you get older, I think it gets a little bit more difficult to stay focused. Well, the older you get, the less focus. Anyway, this was one of those types of weeks for me. And first penny misaligned die. And I still found time to squeeze in a single bank run. My wife's gonna watch this. She's gonna laugh. She didn't even know about it. She was getting her oil changed, and right after we went shopping. We while she was getting her oil changed, we went shopping. I dropped her back off at the dealer, and while I was on the way back to our house from the supermarket, no idea. I was gonna, there's one of the banks that I go to, and it's the best bank, man. This is so that I think that's what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna keep this nice and positive. Is I have a best bank, and I will never say which bank it is, because let me tell you, never share your secrets. It's obviously if you share it's not a secret, but sometimes I get, 2024. No, what's that under the ear? You see that under the earlobe? There's that little thing. Let me look at that. Make sure it's just a water spot or something. Move this light over. Yeah, it is a water spot. Let's check out the back. See if there's anything on the shield. Nothing on the shield. Yeah, never share your secrets. I've made that mistake, and especially if you got a YouTube channel with over 13,000 viewers, probably not a good idea to share your secrets either. See that on the bottom of the O? Is it a die chip? Yeah. All right. Nice. 2019. And let me tell you, I'm going to clean off with the bottom of my shirt because there's some dirt down there. And the dirt, so usually the dirt makes you think you got an error when you don't. In this case, the dirt almost hid the error when I do. Look at that, man. That's nice. That's one of the nicest die, if not the nicest die chip I've ever seen on one of the shield sets. The rest of this will clean up nice. That's a $5, $10 penny right there, man. Especially on these new shield scents, they have no errors. Go through thousands and thousands and thousands of them and not find anything. Anyway, so I blew it at one of my banks for sharing about it and being over enthused. I got enthusiastic. You know what I'm saying? I get it. When people get enthusiastic about something, you meet new people, and you know what? Just keep your mouth shut, man. That would be my advice. Just keep quiet, go with the flow, be the oddball. So I have, and that was one of my good banks. I lost one of my really, really good banks for talking about it, and never had nothing negative to say about them or anything. But I think talking to them about the channel and them watching the channel, they either they decide to give somebody else pennies or mentioning them on the channel. Maybe somebody they got in trouble somehow. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it ruined it at that place. That was one of my good stops to pick up pennies, and the problem with that bank was they're all the same people. Most banks I go to, I mean, I might see the same person there every other time, but like most of the people who work at most of the banks that I go to, first of all, they're all women. So let's just get that. Let me just get that out of the way. And and it's not the same ladies there every time, Just just happens to be that this one bank there, the thickest thieves. It's the same women. They've been there for years. I know them there for years. And that's it. They told me to mention them in my video. I did. And maybe someone today, you can't be doing this at your bank, so next time I called up asking if they had pennies, and this was all of a sudden, and I did it twice. So I didn't just, it wasn't a one-off. And then they said, no, they have no pennies ever. Now they have no pennies ever. Yeah, okay. All right. For 3 years, they had pennies every single time with no phone call. Then I called them up just because I was like, just didn't want to go out of my way. And it was, the tone of their voice changed and everything. I was like, all right. So I have another spot that I go to, and I'm never going to talk about the specifics of any bank I ever go to again. And I'm never going to tell any of the bank tellers that I go to that I have a YouTube channel. So that's that. And so I said, on the way home with the groceries, I said, let me stop by and see if they have anything. Look how on the neck, look how like void of detail it is on the neck. You can see it. I saw it right away. It's odd. How about the reverse? So shiny. I see the doubling on the shield. Do you see that? Something told me to check this one a little bit better. See the line? Now, I found dye bulges and chips on the shield, the 2024. I've never found the doubling on the shield before. This is the first time. And there it is. I mean, I remember there was one that, now I did call the last one, not today, a couple days ago, doubling on but it was kind of a bulge though. So I don't know if it was doubling or not. No idea. So 82 small date. Don't find too many of those either. Oh, what a pretty severe die clash on the reverse. It's weird. You see it here and here. So is the head here, or is the head here, or was it struck multiple times that it doubled it? I don't see the head up here, unless that's it right there. I don't think so. I think that's from the stairs. But the head should be right around here, right? How about on the front? All right. 2023. No extra V. Yeah, so I have this spot. So I said, let me stop by over there. Um, it was Wednesday, the middle of the week. The Walmart was empty. Best. That's one of the benefits of working for yourself is that you can do your errands at times of the day and week when places aren't busy. You know what I mean? Just cut out. Can't do that when you got a job. You could try to squeeze it in on your lunch, but then you're not taking your personal time for yourself. But when you anyway, so and I went there, and it was a different lady who I never saw. I mean, I've been there once a month for the past year, maybe a year and a half, and I still can just show up randomly and see a random person who I've never seen. And she was smiling and she was in a good mood. I guess it was, um, place was empty. She was hanging out with her friend there. They were BS, and it was cool. And I said, "Do you have any pennies?" And she gave me the big smile, like, "Yeah, we have a lot of pennies." I was like, "Can I get $40?" Like, I went for the throat. Like, if you're gonna be nice to me, I'm not gonna. It's always 20. 20 is my minimum, right? And 20 is easy to carry. You could even put it into a plastic grocery bag, $20, and you could do that at every single bank. And if you go to 5 banks and you get $20 each, no idea. You can do $100 in a day. So, the surface. See the surface? Yeah, that's electroplate. That's a electroplating error. The front, not so much, but the reverse, you could really see it. It has no value, but you have to pay attention to it because you can find some that do have value, meaning that the electroplate, that there's some sort of really extravagant anomaly, and that would be a mint error, or is a mint error. Anyway, it's pretty cool looking. And she gave me $40, and she even gave me the bag from the bank, not the one that you put the pennies in, which are great. Those bags are super durable. Those bags can hold $30 easy. She gave me they have their own, I guess, these little not tote bags, but these other little bags, but they're pretty big and they're strong plastic, and it held the 40 pennies, no problem. Which it had to weigh about 20 pounds. I think each penny rolls like a half a pound or something like that. It had to be, yeah, it had to weigh 20 pounds, 15, 20 pounds, something like that. Anyway, it was heavy. 1970. And I was happy. I was really happy. I was like, yeah, got 40 pennies on a $40 in pennies on a random bank stop. That's how life works, man. You got to put the extra time in, man. You don't put the extra time in, you don't get paid the extra. That's it. That is that's one of those mystical rules of thumb. You don't put the extra time in, you don't get the extra. That's how life is. If you work just as hard as everybody else, you're gonna have the same thing everybody else does. If you want the extra, you gotta work. Sometimes you gotta work twice as hard just to get 50% more. And that's it. That's just the way life works, man. It's just the way life is. That was a 1982. Let me put that to the side. You know, see the doubling that the ridge ring makes? Tilt of the die. Yeah, I can get closer. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail. It's pretty cool looking. All right, I took a picture of it. So lately, what I've been doing, 88. It'd be nice if that was a flared G. Look how beautiful this penny is. This is like an MS-65. No, no flared G though. What a beauty. Too bad. It would have been I think the flared G is. I think it's $50. All right. So let me. I keep doing these. I'm getting through the videos. Um, you know what? I gotta do a double today. So this is episode. I think this is 480. I want to say this is 485. Content. Videos. Yeah, this is 485. I'm gonna do a double today. I don't usually do doubles. I'm going to do a double today, and I'm gonna. So I'm not gonna do the. Oh my god, the pennies just popped right out of the stupid penny roll. I'm not gonna do what's that called? A cherry pick penny roll. I'm gonna do episode because I took the weekend off, man. I feel anyway, so I'm gonna make up for time, and I'll think of a new topic, and that will be episode 486. God bless.